This is the story of how I became a medium at the ripe old age of 40, and you can too. So here's what happened. I had a sort of spiritual awakening about 38 or so, and my dad was a Pentecostal preacher. Well, let me tell you, everything I was into was a big old fat sin. So my dad got sick and passed away. Well, he wasn't even cold before he started talking to me and saying, now, Becky Doodle, he called me Becky Doodle, but nobody else gets to. Becky Doodle, here's what I want on my casket. And he shows me the picture of this shiny green leaf and a little white, like honeysuckle. And he just went on, and I'm like, Dad, this is so against your religion. Being able to talk to spirits is hellfire and brimstone, punishable, pitchfork in the butt, all that kind of stuff. And he said, you know what? I'm over here now, and things are so different. So anyway, I did go to every florist in town and get him what he wanted. But what unfolded from this, see, in real life, Dad was a missionary, and he was trying to save souls for the Lord. Well, he said, Rebecca, there are so many people, spirits here that want to make restitution with their loved ones on the other side, but they can't because they can't get through. And will you help? So for the next few months, he would literally bring me clients. I mean, that it would always be for a purpose, not like on TV where it might be just random, but for the purpose of healing and forgiveness. And so I never lacked for clients, because once you do 2 or 3, word spreads like wildfire, especially if you're able to bring comfort. And the way I did it was vastly different from what way it's usually done. And that's the way I teach it. The way I did it, and I'm going to be using some flashcards here. To be a medium to me is to be a connector. So my goal was to connect the living spirit, the person, and the deceased for a purpose. And here's what I discovered. Doing this kind of work relieves pain. 3 ways. Why 3 ways? Because it relieves the pain of the client. You see that? It relieves the pain of the spirit, and it relieves the pain of you. Well, how does it relieve the pain of you? You know it's going to relieve the pain of the client, because the way I teach it, you connect the souls together. You don't just depend on all the information coming through you. You actually get them together in a circle of light, and you guide it gently, and I teach you how to do that. But how does it relieve pain 3 ways? Well, of course, the client feels so much better. I can't even tell you how many times people have come into my office crying and in deep sorrow, and it relieves the pain of the spirit. A lot of times they're kind of stuck. They need to make restitution, and they keep trying until they do. And it relieves the pain of the light worker, the connector, or the medium. Now, how does it relieve the pain of the medium? Because a lot of light workers are financially strapped. This is a career that people will line up for. Why? Because you're relieving pain. Is there any pain worse than being in grief? And when you're wanted as a light worker, when people want your valuable services, you're going to be abundant. Word does spread like wildfire. So, how is my training unique? Because it is. Number one, it teaches you to hone your skills. And what I'm talking about that is it teaches you to accelerate your psychic abilities. And you might think, well, I don't have very many. Well, I didn't have a psychic bone in my body until the age of 40. And I know that I chose to come in like this. And why? So I could teach others, because I learned it with scientific methods. I learned it with things that you do. If you do the things that I teach in my course, whether you wanted to become a medium or not, I have another course on how to become a psychic, because it's going to open up the right side of your brain, which is where all the spiritual psychic information comes through. But how can it get through to the other side of the brain? Well, it can't unless you know the techniques that will open it up. And I can take the most left-brain person in the world, and if they do what I ask of them, now I'm not talking about doing it one time and saying, oh, it didn't work. I'm talking about if you do the exercises that are in my program on a daily basis, your psychic abilities are going to skyrocket. So that's one way my training is very unique. And then another is that you're always in control. You're in control of the client, the situation. How? Because I give you a script. My program comes with several forms. One is an intake form that you get ahead of time before the client ever shows up. Why? So you can pray and meditate on it, and you'll start getting information the moment you pray and meditate upon this client and the spirit. You'll know what their issue is, what their pain is, and why they want to see you. And so many times you're going to have all that information ahead of time, because when you sit and be quiet and ask, the answers come to you. So that's one thing. Earlier I mentioned relieving pain 3 ways, and there's one other way that my course teaches you to relieve pain. Because on the intake form, it asks about the pain. Are you in grief? Are you in sorrow? Are you just sad? Are you angry? Sometimes somebody dies and leaves us holding the bag. We might be angry. So my training also includes ways that you can alleviate those emotions before you start the session. Now, why would you want to do that? Because why do you think they can't get in touch with the deceased anyway? Because a lot of times very intense emotions block any kind of communication. And if their emotions are so heavy, it can even block your reception sometimes. So I teach you ways to alleviate their discomfort. And then finally, ta-da! My course teaches you how to get clients. And it also teaches you the difference between a case study and a testimonial. Whether you take my course or not, I'm going to give you this little bit of information because you might use it for something else. And we are here to be of service, right? So almost no one asks, do you mind if I use this information in my case studies? and then you let them be known that you change the names, you can change the location. Sometimes when you ask for a testimony, the person feels like, oh, I don't know what to say. You take that whole burden off because I provide a form for you that says something like this. Now, you came in to see me because you were feeling this emotion. Is that right? Because you have an intake form. And you wanted to get in touch with so-and-so because of blah, blah, blah reason. Is that right? Yes. So you take and how are you feeling now as far as your emotion? Because they're going to be feeling a whole lot better. And how are you feeling now about connecting? And may I use this in my case studies? And you have everything in writing already. All you need is their consent that you can use it. So the way I also do my trainings, I have a large audience of wonderful light workers, and they love to get to receive services. So I let you practice on those who want to have a mediumship session. Now here's the deal. This year I'm making it so that up front they know if that there must be an exchange of energy. I like for my students to do at least 5 mediumship sessions before charging. So for the exchange of energy, they know up front that they need to give you permission to use their case study. Now, I'm going to give a little bit more away because that's just how I am. But how would you use a case study to get clients? Well, say you're out with different people and you never say, here's my card, I'm a medium. That's being kind of pushy. But you could very easily say, you know, I was working with a client a few days ago who felt such intense emotion around blah, blah, blah. And her situation was unique because of blah, blah, blah. And we were able to resolve the situation, and it just does my heart so good to provide this service. Then, of course, they're going to want to know more, but you would just work it subtly and with discernment into the conversation. So, if you'd like more information about my training program, which I do about once a year, and it's coming up. If you missed the live, there is audio training available. It's very, very reasonable. And I'm available by phone or by email. Now, I personally don't take, well, I do occasionally take a private client because my calling is to teach groups of people. Why would I just do it when I have the skills, the know-how, and the unique abilities to teach anybody that has the heart for it, to be a wonderful connector between the spirit world and the human world, and to bring true relief from pain. This is Rebecca Marina Messenger, and I look forward to bringing you another video soon. Check out my channel. I have over 300 self-help videos, and I look forward to connecting with you. So, click the link for more information, subscribe to my channel, and God bless you real good.